Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're embarking on a really fascinating journey. We're looking into the mysteries surrounding Mount Kailash.
It's a place that just captures the imagination, doesn't it?
Right.
So much spiritual significance, so many unanswered questions.
Exactly. And we've got some unique insights today, drawn from a conversation with Doctor Meena Mahajan Guruma. She's a devoted follower of Shiva, and her perspective from a YouTube transcript we looked at is quite profound.
Right. She offers a very personal, spiritual lens on Kailash.
So for everyone listening, you might have heard of Kailash, maybe seen pictures, felt that pull of curiosity. Our mission here is to, well, dig a bit deeper.
Go beyond just the physical mountain, you mean?
Precisely.
Yeah.
Into its spiritual heart, its symbolic meaning, guided by Dr. Meena Mahajan's thoughts.
Okay.
So let's start with the big questions, the ones raised in the source material that probably echo for many people. Do Shiva and Parvati actually live there? Like physically?
Yeah, what is Kailash, really?
And the really baffling one, why hasn't anyone managed to climb it? We've conquered Everest, K2, but Kailash remains untouched at the summit. Why?
It's a great starting point. And interestingly, Dr. Meena Mahajan immediately kind of challenges that idea of Kailash as just a physical place to be climbed.
Oh, how so?
Well, she suggests it's primarily a state of being. Think of it like an inner state, a state of mind where there's no negativity, no suffering, what she calls klesh.
No clash. So it's less about geography and more about inner peace.
Exactly. For anyone wanting to, grasp the essence quickly, that's a key insight from her. The real pilgrimage, the real journey to Kailash starts within yourself.
That really reframes the whole thing. So maybe the challenge isn't about ropes and ice axes.
Right. But of course, we can't ignore the physical reality either.
No, the mountain is definitely there. The source mentions Mount Kailash, Adi Kailash, Lake Manasarovar. These are real places on the map.
Absolutely. And people do go on pilgrimages around Kailash. The transcript mentions devotees having really profound, sometimes visionary experiences near the mountain.
But not on the summit. Which brings us back to that mystery. Why have mountaineers, experienced ones, always failed or turned back?
This is where it gets really intriguing. The source hints at some, unusual phenomena reported by those who tried to get close to the summit.
Unusual how?
Things like reports of incredibly accelerated nail and hair growth, strange sightings, things that fundamentally unsettled people, instilled fear, and made them retreat.
Wow. So not just difficult terrain, but something else.
Possibly. And if you connect that back to Kailash being this place of ultimate peace, maybe those physical anomalies are like a sign of dissonance?
A dissonance, like the climber's inner state, maybe ambition, ego, the desire to conquer, clashing with the mountain's energy.
That seems to be the implication, doesn't it? Which ties directly into what Dr. Meena Mahajan really emphasizes, the importance of inner transformation.
Okay, tell me more about that.
She makes the point that truly connecting with Kailash, understanding it, begins inside. It's about cultivating an inner state free from conflict, free from that clash.
That sounds simple, but it's actually incredibly hard in daily life, isn't it? We have conflicts in families, at work, even within ourselves.
Totally. And the source contrasts that everyday disharmony with the descriptions of Kailash, a place where even natural enemies, like a snake and a mouse, are said to coexist peacefully.
That's a powerful image. It suggests a kind of radical acceptance.
Exactly. Accepting everything around you, even things usually considered feelsome, like the ghan, ghosts, spirits mentioned as being part of Shiva's entourage there.
So it's not about excluding anything, but embracing everything with, what was the term?
Sambhav, equanimity, that state of even-mindedness, of deep inner peace. That, according to her, is the true essence of Kailash.
Peace and acceptance, not conquest.
Precisely.
And it seems achieving that inner state, or even getting close to these sacred places physically, often involves difficulty. The source brings this up.
Yes, it does. It draws a link between reaching sacred sites and facing challenges. Kinnar Kailash is used as an example. It's a tough trek.
Right. And it mentions other forms of Mahadev too, like the Joy Trilingas, or even him appearing as a gopi in Vrindavan. The path isn't usually easy.
Think about the traditional way people used to go to Kedarnath at Tabaratra walking for days versus, hopping on a helicopter now. There seems to be value placed on the effort, the hardship.
But why? Why the emphasis on making it hard?
Well, the transcript uses this lovely analogy, cooking rice.
Cooking rice, okay.
Yeah, the idea is that the anticipation, the process, the aroma while it's cooking, that journey is often more meaningful than just the final plate of rice.
Ah, I get it. The journey matters as much, maybe more, than the destination.
Exactly. And Mahadev, the source suggests, teaches us through this. Reaching him, truly connecting, means going beyond our physical limitations, beyond our normal understanding of time, of Kalal. He is Mahakal, after all.
Beyond time and body. So the difficulty forces that shift.
It could be a catalyst, yeah, pushing you past your perceived limits.
That idea of pushing limits brings us to something else. Dr. Meena Mahajan talked about a critique of sort of protocol versus real devotion.
Ah, yes, the Kedarnath story.
Right. She mentions a saint saying, VIP means very important sinner. That's quite pointed.
It is. It contrasts the special treatment for some with the experience of ordinary devotees who endure so much hardship, maybe queue for hours, just for a fleeting glimpse, a moment of darshan.
That split second of seeing the divine.
And the source really emphasizes the power of that moment, that single instant of genuine surrender and connection, even in a crowd. It's not about how long you're there, but the depth of feeling.
Like her own story with Aluda.
Exactly. Receiving that water pot, the intense emotion of offering the water amidst all the pushing, and then losing her Rudraksha beads but accepting it, it shows how grace works in unexpected ways, doesn't it?
It really does. It's not about following rules perfectly, but about that heart connection.
Which leads to the idea of receiving signs, or sankets.
Signs that your devotion is accepted.
Yes, but she adds a crucial point. You need inner vision, drishti, to even notice them. They might not be obvious external things.
You need to be receptive internally.
Right. And she shares how her own relationship with Shiva evolved. It went from being a devotee to feeling truly loved by him.
And that shift became really concrete after something major happened.
Yes, a very serious near-death experience, a DVT leading to a pulmonary embolism. Life-threatening stuff.
Wow.
And she interprets this with validation from a spiritual guide, not as a random medical event, but as Shiva lovingly taking her to the edge, to the shamashan, the cremation ground, and bringing her back.
That's a profound way to see it, an act of love.
Yes. It moved her understanding of divine love from just an idea, intellectual concept, to a lived, undeniable reality. It completely reshaped her path.
So that experience defines divine love for her. How does the source contrast that with, ordinary love?
It makes a clear distinction. Worldly love is often tangled up with I want, with expectations, conditions. Divine love, prem, is about selfless giving, about service, with no expectation of return.
Like the example used.
The analogy of a mother's love for her child. That unconditional care and service, just doing what's needed, that's closer to divine prem.
And this connects to Shiv-bhagya.
Right. Shiv-bhagya is presented as when your destiny, your life path, becomes guided by Shiva. It leads to surrender, accepting whatever comes, trusting the flow rather than trying to force your own plans.
Letting go of control.
Essentially, yes. Trusting that divine guidance.
So if someone is feeling drawn to this path, are there signs? Like, how do you know if you're becoming, what was the term, Shiva-maya, imbued with Shiva?
That's a natural question. The transcript mentions it's quite common for people on other paths, say devoted to Krishna, to still feel a strong pull towards Shiva, maybe singing his bhajans.
So it's not about exclusive boxes.
Not at all. It emphasizes that all paths ultimately lead to the same divine source. What's really important isn't the label or the sect, but experiencing that feeling of love, premka abhas, and the essence of devotion, bhaktikaras.
The feeling, the experience is key.
Yes, that inner resonance.
Okay, let's circle back then to where we started. That big question. Why is Kailash itself, the summit, seemingly off limits? Why can't mountaineers reach it?
Dr. Meena Mahajan offers a perspective tied to our current human condition, our collective consciousness in this era, the Kali Yuga.
Which is characterized by
a strong tendency towards control, towards conquest, towards ego. The idea is that trying to climb Kailash today might often come from that place wanting to conquer it, plant a flag, claim it.
An ego-driven act rather than a spiritual one.
Exactly. And that impulse, that energy of ego, arrogance, even the modern obsession with, say, capturing everything for social media reels, is seen as fundamentally incompatible with the sacredness, the purity of Kailash.
So the mountain itself, or the energy there, resists that kind of approach.
That's the interpretation offered. It suggests that true access might require a kind of collective shift in humanity, a move towards more purity, more truthfulness qualities associated with a higher age, like Satyuga.
A purification is needed first.
Perhaps. The source does mention stories of highly evolved beings, divine sadhus like Mahavatar Babaji, being able to access such places. It implies access isn't just physical, but tied to spiritual readiness, merit, and surrender.
So it's not impossible, just not for everyone in our current state.
That seems to be the idea. It's conditional on inner purity and divine permission, not just climbing skill or technology.
Which brings us to a final hopeful thought from the source.
Yes, this vision that eventually, through enough inner transformation happening across the world, the whole world could become like Kailash.
A global state of peace and harmony.
A beautiful, if distant, vision.
So to kind of wrap this up, the key takeaway really seems to be that Kailash is so much more than a mountain peak.
Absolutely. It's a symbol, a representation of an inner state, ultimate peace, freedom from suffering. And the real journey to Kailash is internal.
It involves that inner work, facing challenges, cultivating that selfless devotion we talked about.
Right. And the physical inaccessibility, maybe it's a mirror reflecting where we are collectively, highlighting a need for deeper spiritual purity.
It definitely gives you something to think about. Which leads us to a final thought for you, our listeners.
How can you maybe cultivate that Kailash state of mind in your own life? Right here, right now.
Yeah, regardless of whether you ever physically go there, think about focusing on inner peace, on acceptance, on acting selflessly. What specific negativity, what klesh could you consciously try to release today?
It's a powerful question to sit with.
Indeed. And we share that hope from the source for a future where those Kailash-like qualities become more and more present in our world. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
Until then.